All right, like I said, we're back on the applicator project today. My burn pile is pretty much gone this morning. I started up about 12:15 last night when we got home from the movies. Still pretty hot, still really hot. And I found quite a few hunks of random iron that I didn't know were in there, so have to be very careful sifting through the ashes to get everything. Of course, I'm probably just going to bury the ashes anyhow, but so I have stuff to, I got the steel to make my 3-point stuff for that other toolbar, so we can get that done. And the other day when I was up here, so I had two little segments, like 10 minutes worth of video from working on this earlier this week, but things have progressed so far since then it didn't make any sense to use them, so I just threw them out. But so I got plates being burned out for this bolt pattern that are going to go back here. That'll be what the A-frame for the rear hitch goes off of. And then there'll be an A-frame with plates back here that share the same bolt pattern, so that the rear hitch is pulling right off the 3-point. You're not pulling off the toolbar. And then there'll be a strut that comes up and is welded into or somehow bolted something up on the center. And I wonder why this one's got. Anyhow, sorry, sidetrack. And then we got a new plate being burned out for the piston pump mount so that we can put that on the frame. It's going to go in a different spot. We can talk about that later, but find a better place to put it to keep the center rear of the toolbar clean. So we got that going on, but waiting on steel for it. But like I say, we got steel to make the 3-point brackets, so that's what we're gonna do. And then while I was up here the other day measuring for that, I looked over and noticed I have all these brand new 20-inch fluted coulters. There's 4 here that are still on. There's 3 right here that match it, and then these 3 are actually the old coulters off of the ripper before I put smaller coulters on it, because those big 20s just made it plug-in trash, and I put the smaller ripple coulters on it, and that cured that problem. This one I believe actually has a little doink in it somewhere, maybe. I thought, yeah, right there. So probably won't use that one. But I got these 3 and those 4 are identical matching, and they're all the same size. They're all basically brand new. And then I've got these 3 that are virtually full size. The fluting is a little different style. It goes all the way out to the edge. But I mean, they've only lost like a 1/16 a side, maybe an 1/8 inch overall ish. So I can nab, see, 4/7, so if I nab those 2, that one I don't want to use because it's got that doink in it, but so I've got enough coulters that are virtually new, if not brand new, to put on it. So that saves me probably $350-400, because probably not quite that much, probably closer to 300, because those coulters are like 30, I think $33-34 a piece, and I need 9 of them. So that's nice. I just gotta come up here and get them off. And the Shoop Farm Show sale starts, I think actually technically it started today, but I'll Monday, tomorrow, I can order. For now I'm just gonna put cheap knives on it, just the regular plain tillage steel ones, and when I wear that set out, I'll actually buy a good set of chrome plated hardened ones, because the hardened ones are, man, they're salty. But I can put the cheapo ones on it for now just to get it built and get it going. But anyway, I gotta draw these up real quick and get the whole patterns laid out, and then we can go down and get these made. Alright, they ain't gonna win no beauty contest, but I'm the only one that has to understand them, so they're just a real rough drawing of what everything's got to look like. So first step, I got to get 4 pieces of angle cut at 18 7/8, and 2 pieces cut at 18 1/4, and the upper mast is heavier angle. It's 1/2 inch, and if I remember right, the lower length was 3/4, or not 3/4, 3/8. But anyway, and this box has my which I haven't actually opened it yet, so I'll probably need to do that. This box has got my visit gauges and all that stuff. I got that ordered this week too. This came from sprayer specialists in Illinois. They got multiple locations, but the Illinois one's the closest one to me, so that's the one I go through. Those guys are good. I like working with that place. I've bought stuff from them several times, and they have yet to disappoint. Hard to believe this little tiny box is $570. These are Wilger style, and the manifold style. So I wanted to go with a manifold, that way I could actually have 9 runs instead of having to have a dead one that's just sitting there doing nothing, because my OCD wouldn't like that. So there's 4, and there's the other 5. And since these are modular, it works out really nice. There's a gauge port here. You just got to drill it out, because it's made where if you don't run a gauge, you don't have to, and if you run a gauge, you just drill it a little. It's already threaded. You just take a drill and knock the plastic out. And there's my gauge. Made in Taiwan. I guess it's better than China. I sprung for a glycerin filled one so the needle won't jump around, but there's the gauge. My orifices and check valves. And they sent me a new book. These guys right here, I got Grimes, Iowa, Gardner, Kansas, Brimfield, Illinois, Casey, Iowa, which I think Casey is actually a new location. But yeah, these guys, I literally got on the phone. I had the catalog in front of me, but I didn't have part numbers or anything written down. I called the guy up on the phone, said, I'm looking for ball style flow meters. I need 9 rows. This is what I'm doing. He said, okay, this is everything you need. I didn't tell it. He just said, this is what you need. And that's the same way it's been every other time. You call them up, you say, this is what I'm doing. Don't even need part numbers, and they just say, okay, here's what you need. Here's what we're gonna do for you. The only thing that sucks about this style is sometimes getting these dang clips to go back in. Come on. Oh, there's a little crap in the hole there. Oh, come on, you bastard. This is the same thing. My boss has a John Blue. He's got the fancy set with the electronic monitor and everything, so you don't actually have to watch the balls. You can just see it all from inside the cab. But when I was putting his together on the planter, you fought the same dang thing, getting these little clips to go in. There we go. And I don't know if this is the exact arrangement I'm going to have with... I don't know if I'm going to leave this in the center or put it off to one side. I haven't decided yet. In the center makes the most sense. This might be the way it ends up being, is 4 and 5. But anyway, out of the pump and then out the top, and just need a flat plate. You paint it white to make it easier to see. And whichever or what material you're pumping and your flow rate determines which density of ball you use, and away you go. So anyhow, there's that. Well, like I say, salty. Everything in this box is $570. So anyhow, on to cutting steel. Alright, so I got my first, it's not setup, but I got my first setup. It's going to take four different setups to do all these, because you have lefts and rights and two sides. So I'll be able to take, this is a heavy one, so this is a center, so I can take a center link and two lower links. So I can take a center link and two lower links and machine them like this, with this leg facing out. Go through, punch all the holes. And then I'll have to flip the setup to where the leg is off the back, reset up and do 3 of them that way. That'll give you a left and a right. And then reset up and work on the tall leg and do 3 tall legs facing this way, 3 tall legs facing that way, left and right. So that's what we got to do. So I will get my bits around. I've already got, and this is the upper, so I need to go to 1 inch 0625. 06. Damn it. 06 152.5. Of course, in the end, it doesn't have to be that precise because it's just a piece of farm equipment. And this old lathe, close enough. And the ways in this lathe are, it's a 1966, so they've been around a few times, so when you move the locks around, it messes with your zeros a little bit. Okay, so I got a small drill in to punch a pilot hole. My dimensions are additive, so you go there first, and then there, and there, and there, and there, so you just work right down the line on the readout. So and then the next one is going to be at 5.4375. And then 8.4375. Okay, I got the first 3 short legs done, so now I got to change my setup to where we're working off the back of the vise, which involves re-zeroing. Put it back into high gear. And then and now we're ready to start drilling again. Oop. 1875, not 875. there's that. Apparently somebody wants in. Eater. What? Ow! We need to trim your claws. That hurt. Ugh. Anyhow, they're all done. I took a grinder and knocked all the mill scale. Well, what mill scale would come off, I knocked off so the paint will stick better. All the holes line up, so that's always a good sign. So I'm going to hit them with some lacquer thinner and hang them and shoot some primer on them. And while they're drying, clean up my mess. And I don't know if I got any red paint or not, but at least get some primer on them. Hopefully we got enough primer. Well, I'm gonna have to get some red paint now because naturally we didn't have enough of one color primer to do the job. We had half a can of red oxide, which did 3. And then I found a can of Ohm Gray that I wish I'd have found first because that would have done all 4. But even at that, I'd have had to get red paint because I ain't putting white uprights on a dang red toolbar. So I'll get some red paint tomorrow. The one thing I didn't do on those that they did on the factory original ones is they made like profile cuts. They like cut angles here and here, anywhere where there's was excess material, not access material. I did not do that. A, leave a little bit more strength in them, and B, if for some reason need to add something to them for the rear hitch or whatever, I've got more meat to work with, so I just left everything square. There was no reason for them to taper all those corners off on the originals other than the fact that it probably looks a little better, but I'm leaving them like that just for mechanical purposes. So the last thing I got to do as far as the 3-point parts is we got to cut some pipe to make some spacers. There's a 2.5-inch spacer that goes in the center link mast with a 1-inch bolt that goes through and that pinches them together and holds them in position. And then on the ones for the lower links, that's what these 2 holes are. There's 2 1/2-inch bolts that go through and tie them together with 3-inch spacers. So this piece of pipe will give us our 2.5-inch spacer, and I'm just whatever we get for all the. That does not look too off. Yeah, no, that one does look. I don't trust that, so we're gonna make a little cut to square it up. Okay, so this one needs to be, this one needs to be 2 1/4, not 2 1/2. So 2 1/4. Measure 20 times, cut once. Okay, so that'll take care of the center link. And got to make 4 of them at 3 inches for the lower links. Okay, so since I didn't really do a whole lot as far as, I feel like we could do more to make this, to add on to this, because since I didn't video a whole lot of running in the middle today because it was pretty redundant. We will continue this tomorrow. I got a list of bolts I need to get for the 3-point and to put the coulters on. So I'll get those tomorrow. I'll get some red paint and pick up some more primer because I'm going to need some more primer tomorrow. I'll order my knives tomorrow. And while I'm at it, I'm going to order my blades and bearings to rebuild the front of the finisher. Now looking forward to that bill. And I think that'll be it for now. Because once I can't really do anything as far as making a mount for the visi gauges until I get the 3-point mounted. Which actually I can get the center links mounted, or the centers. I can get the center mast mounted because there's nothing getting bolted to that. So I can get that mounted tomorrow. And once the center mast is on, I can get my mount made for my visi gauges because those are going to mount on one of the angles for the center link. And then once we get the plate back for the new mount for the pump drive wheel, get that on there, and then it's just a matter of plumbing it up. And then once it's plumbed up, then we can move on to the tank cart, which shouldn't be too big of a, I'm not gonna say shouldn't be too big of a deal, but it shouldn't take as long because there's not going to be as many pieces needing made. So it should, I mean, other than the fact that we're waiting on parts, there's really not a whole lot left to do as far as major fabrication and toolbar end. So, but anyhow, that can all get, I'm just thinking out loud here at this point. So anyhow, we'll catch you guys tomorrow. Alright, so now everything's a nice shade of red. I went with some Rust-Oleum Sunrise Red. It looked pretty darn close to sumac red, so at least that's what that toolbar should be, I think, with sumac red. But anyhow, we're gonna grab the impact and go up and see if I can get my coulters around. I got, this should be all the bolts I need, at least for initial assembly here. So go get some blades to the parts warehouse. Okay, that's as safe as I feel getting my pickup back here because it gets a little swampy. Really need to, we got Dad brought a tile out of the field up to the driveway to drain the horseshoe because water would hold up in the gravel and not make it into the, not make it down through the dirt into the hill, and it gets really wet back here. Almost need to run probably two laterals, probably one here and one here, because this gets really wet. But anyway, I digress. So we want these, three, and their nice pretty paint job. The shit that I find that I forget I have when I'm walking around looking for other stuff, I tell you what, I completely forgot I had all these plow parts and coulters up here. Like, I forgot I had these 2 extension bases down here too. Like, they just, the stuff I have laying around. And we need this guy. Go ahead and close this back up, and I can grab, come on, start, dang you. All these old bolts have been on this plow coulter for a while because one side's wore off from running in the dirt. Okay, just a few more to go. Oh, I really need to get this. I wish all the steel was here so I can get the 3-point stuff put together, because being able to hang this on a tractor would be a whole lot nicer than having to work on it off the forklift. But this is what we got for right now, so but I'm gonna put the 2 oddballs off the ripper on either end so they don't stick out like a sore thumb, and then all the matching, I think they're actually all Weiss. I think they came off of 2 different plows, but I think they're all Weiss. Anyway, put all the matching fluted ones in the center. So, see what we can do. All right, all the coulters are on. Everything turns. Now, obviously, the issue we have is they're down too far. But here's where I want to strike the balance of having the most amount of crop clearance I can have under the toolbar and not have everything so far down and still be able to use the gauge wheels. So the gauge wheels actually have one more hole they can go down. So I think we'll get the gauge wheels dropped, get the tires aired up. Hopefully they take air. But gauge or drop the posts, get the tires aired up, figure out what that's going to be, and then set the coulters to match the gauge wheels. That way, that'll get me the most ground clearance I can absolutely have underneath the toolbar, and yeah, that's basically what we're shooting for. All right, airing the tires up. I got the other one to go. I tried the ratchet strap trick. That didn't work. They're too hard. They don't want to flex right. So I resorted to the ye old ether trick, and it jumped right on the rim. So we'll see if I can make that happen twice. I hardly ever get that to work right, and I just did it twice in a row. I'm impressed. There we go. All right, I guess we'll see if they stay holding air. It wouldn't surprise me if I don't end up putting tubes in them to get them to stay up, but we shall see. They got 30 pounds in them now, so I can check them and make sure they're not losing, or they'll be flat tomorrow, one way or the other. And as far as setting depth goes, which honestly, looking at it, they might be pretty damn close. But as far as setting depth goes, the easiest thing to do is going to be to wait till I have the 3-point rigging on so I can get it hanging on a tractor. Lock the toolbar rigid, set some 4x4s or some blocking underneath the gauge wheels, get it set and level, and just raise or lower whatever needs to happen the coulters to where they all match whatever. If I put a 4x4 under there, that's got them 3.5 inches in the ground, so I would think that'd be plenty. Otherwise, a 4x4 with a 2x4 on top of it, something to get it in the ground. But we can cross that bridge when it comes time to set depth and see what looks best. So, but for right now, I think that's our stopping point for today and the stopping point for this video, and we will see where things take us from here. So that's it for this one. We'll catch you guys on the next one.